dead and dozens still missing after raging floodwaters pummeled Brazil's streets on Tuesday. Water seen rushing down the mountainous region, with many victims still believed to be buried. Residents and rescue teams carrying body bags through the rubble. And here, a mother desperately searching for her child.
Muita tristeza de ver o povo pedindo socorro e tu não tem como socorrer, não tem como ajudar, não tem como fazer nada. É desespero, é sentimento de perda muito grande. Vocês não têm noção de o que é passar por isso.
Verified social media video shows entire houses and even cars dragged away by mudslides. Officials say the flooding began in the evening, over 10 inches of rain in just 3 hours. That's almost as much rain as the last 30 days in the area combined. But this week, local residents looked on as water swirled through the city of Petrópolis, a mountainous region of Rio de Janeiro. In some cases, houses were buried entirely beneath. Says at least 44 localities have been affected. It's not the first time this area has been slammed by a deluge. In January 2011, heavy rainfall caused more than 900 deaths. Now, Governor Claudio Castro says the government will dig out the buried area with machinery. He adds that at least 400 soldiers have joined the rescue operation, racing to find survivors. As the city of Petrópolis begins what City Hall has declared 3 days of mourning.
Muito triste mesmo, muito triste. Muito triste. A nossa cidade simplesmente acabou, o nosso bairro acabou.
Zincle Asamoah, NBC News.
Right now, there are 51 volcanoes actively erupting on the planet. This list of erupting volcanoes includes Great Sitkin in Alaska, which has been erupting since May of 2021 via producing an ever-growing andesite lava dome. It also includes Fuego in Guatemala, which has been erupting continuously since January of 2002, frequently producing large pyroclastic flows. With this being said, here are a few of this week's major volcano-related news stories. At the Mauna Loa volcano in Hawaii, its western flank was hit with a storm of earthquakes caused by the movement of magma. Meanwhile, in Washington state, a misunderstanding during Volcano Week led to the incorrect assumption that Glacier Peak was about to erupt. And, in several countries around the world, this week was marked by a series of 3 surprise volcanic eruptions. The most notable of these new eruptions occurred at Mount Etna on the evening of February 10th. There, a so-called paroxysm, which is a short yet violent burst of activity, created a series of 500 to 1,000 meter high lava fountains alongside pyroclastic flows. This marks Etna's first paroxysm of 2022 and could either signal that more paroxysms will occur in the next week, or it could signal a several-week period of far lower eruptive intensity. Several thousand kilometers to the east offshore of the Russian peninsula of Kamchatka, the Abeko volcano produced a brand new eruption on February 6th. This new eruption was over in the span of several minutes as it represented a phreatic eruption caused by heat of underlying magma flashing groundwater to steam and generating an explosion. Although small, it marks Abeko's first eruption since November 9th of 2021, which ended a 5-year-long volcanic sequence. Several thousand kilometers to the southwest, the famous Taal volcano in the Philippines produced a comparatively smaller phreatic eruption in its central acidic crater lake on February 10th. This eruption occurred at 4:16 p.m. local time and lasted for 27 seconds. It marks the 11th phreatic explosion to occur since its newest volcanic sequence began on January 29th. Mauna Loa Shield volcano has been at a heightened alert level for more than 2 years. During this time period, magma has moved underneath its edifice, causing the volcano to uplift by several inches. This here is a quick list of every volcano which is currently erupting. Also, here are some volcanoes showing signs of unrest which could erupt in the near future.
When it comes to Mother Nature acting up in northeast Ohio, we always expect snowstorms or freezing temperatures, but earthquakes? Nope, can't even say it. Isabel Lawrence learned the United States Geological Survey has recorded at least 7 in Lake County just this year.
I was just working probably on the computer.
Willowick Mayor Rich Regovich was having a normal day at the office last week until
I was sitting right here, heard a boom, and I thought something hit the roof, or somebody was working on the roof, or somebody hit the building. And I heard one of these windows kind of rattle, which has never happened.
It was an earthquake, one of at least 7 recorded in Lake County by the U.S. Geological Survey since the start of 2022. The most recent was on February 4th. ODNR and the USGS both recording a 2.4 magnitude, about 3 miles northwest of Timberlake.
Activity for that part of Ohio.
ODNR seismologist Jeff Fox says Northeast Ohio is geologically complex, with the ground deep below our feet riddled with faults. He's talking about a 4.0 magnitude earthquake that struck near Eastlake in June of 2019. These recent quakes are happening half a mile to 2 miles offshore in that same area, leading Fox to think these could be aftershocks.
The 2019 earthquake happened closest to the shore, and these are kind of spreading towards the west to the northwest. So it seems like it's this kind of aftershock activity in a very linear feature, and faults, they're linear features.
So while we might have a reason as to the cause of these quakes, that original 2019 earthquake, we don't really know a lot about the timing. Fox there says you can't really predict when earthquakes will happen in this area. He said maybe this is just sort of a readjustment from that 2019 event, Russ.
Wow, who knew? Okay, Isabel Lawrence in the newsroom. Thank you.
Well, one of the things I am fascinated about in this world of ours is volcanic eruptions. And the Hunga Tunga Hunga Ha'apai volcanic eruption in January of 2022 has set a record, the highest or tallest volcanic plume ever recorded since satellites began. That was back in the 1960s. Actually reached 36 miles into the atmosphere, reaching the 3rd layer of the atmosphere, which is called the mesosphere. The old record was set in 1991. That was Mount Pinatubo, which had a 22-mile tall volcanic plume. This is 2.5 times larger than any potential thunderstorm, and before the actual plume began to dispersed, it reached the size of the state of Georgia. Now, the aerosols in this plume have circled the globe. Took it about 2 weeks to do that. Aerosols could last longer than a year, but we're not expecting much climate effect from this because sulfur dioxide, which is the greenhouse gas that most volcanoes release, was in very low concentrations. But the combination of volcanic heat and that superheated moisture gave us hyperfuel for a mega thunderstorm. That's from Christopher Bedka, an atmospheric scientist with NASA.
Ready for major earthquake with thousands dead? After 2 tremors in northern Israel, the Home Front Command responded to concerned citizens by warning of a devastating earthquake sometime in the future. A massive earthquake killing thousands of civilians is expected to hit Israel at some point in the future. The Army Home Front Command warned on Tuesday, following a small earthquake in northern Israel. Another small earthquake occurred shortly after the announcement,